All right, now I'm going to report it tonight. Well, tell it like it got to coming down the road. Well, you know, I don't like to read too much, but I want to read this. Because a scalawag over in Clinton called me and Honorable General Robert E. Lee and all those folks from Knoxville County, called us treasoners. Yes, he did. You know, he did something even Thaddeus Stevens wouldn't do. And Thaddeus Stevens hated the South with so much passion. And with his Reconstruction committee that he had sent over there, wouldn't even allow Christian white folk men to even vote anymore, couldn't do anything. He was bent on destroying the Christian white folks in the South and really didn't care anything about the black folks, just using them as a weapon to get at the white folks in the South. I'm telling the truth. So the boy kept calling us treasonous, treason. But anyway, let me read this verse. The Confederate monument in Arlington, Virginia reads, "Theirs was a cause, not for fame or reward, not for place or for rank, not lured by ambition or goaded by necessity, but in simple obedience to duty as they understood it. These men, and I include the women as well, suffered all, sacrificed all, dared all and died." Now, how can I take and sit down here and talk about the Confederate veterans' charge and not protect the name of the good men and women around here in the Southland of America? You know, I know I'm in Unionist territory too. You know, I keep forgetting. You know, Commander Jim Mattis used to tell me all the time when I came to Tennessee, hold your flag, HK, because you know you're in Unionist territory. Folks ain't know where you're coming from. Because I'm not, you know, General Lee was a Unionist man too, as well as President Davis. They loved the Union. Till the scalawags got something around their throat, you know, and Yankees get something in their throat and they start doing bad stuff. And all that stealing. Newspaper man, I want you to make sure you get this part right. You know, as a former member of the United States Army and a veteran, it don't sit well with me to be up in Knoxville, Tennessee at the largest Veterans Day parade around here and be told by American Legion Post No. 2 that the Confederate soldiers can't bring their colors and march in the parade. You know, it kind of makes you go back when you study history and you see what took the men and women of the South and say they had enough of all that stealing that was going on and figured that they may well just get rid of that, nullify that deal they had with the Union. It's the same kind of thing. How can you call yourself the American Legion Post? You're supposed to be representing veterans. You're over here practicing content discrimination against the bravest veteran that ever walked on God's earth around here in North American continent, probably in the whole world, and that's the Confederate soldier.
Amen.
The United States Congress called him and said the boy was so bad we got to keep the American in his name. He's an American veteran. And said that his colors were venerated. That means you can't swear on them, you can't burn them, you got to leave them alone, because that's an honored symbol. However, those rules are not made for us. You know, folks make rules and they pick and choose what they want to do, how they want to use the rules, any kind of way they want to, like folks do the Constitution. Did the Constitution say. And now you're going to tell me, no, let me go back a little bit. The Knoxville Sentinel published a letter from a fellow, I can't remember his name real well, it was Tezebez or something like that. The boy said he was a 20-year veteran in the United States Army. And said when he came in his parade, talking about the Veterans Day parade, and came around the corner and saw the colors flying of the Christian cross of St. Andrew, made him real mad. Well, if you'd put us in the parade like we supposed to be anyway, you wouldn't have come around that corner and see them. And it went on to say that he served one flag, the American flag. I had to get a boy a little education. Korean conflict, United Nations conflict, couldn't carry the American flag. All the American soldiers carried the Christian cross, St. Andrew. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Vietnam. Coming out of the boonies, boys, all scared, don't know where they're going, don't know how they're going to find their way back. The Vietnamese already been stealing the American flag. This is American flag, too. Stealing the stars and stripes. So the boys don't even know. But I tell you one thing, they didn't steal. Southern boys didn't play that commander. You won't come around here and stealing this. You steal this, and you're going to leave with a Chinese name, Vietnamese man. He hung high. So when the boys came out the fields and saw this flag, it was like, oh my Lord, we were safe at last. I don't care what color he was carrying, red, yellow, black, or white, Yankee, or whatever he was. When he saw this, the boy knew he was all right. There won't be no cannon fodder for the Vietnamese tonight, because the Vietnamese were whooping some folks, and I'm going to tell you that right now. I have a great deal of respect for this. Now, I know the commander over here, sitting over here, he said, well, you know, I heard that HK was the NAACP president. Yes, it was. No, nobody came me for that. Because I'm going to tell you, when they went in the back room, they was all sitting around there, twisting their hands. Said, oh, Lord, what we going to do? We the oldest civil rights organization in the country. An icon in the black community, and we getting ready to go broke. What we going to do? And some of them newspaper-owning Jewish friends of mine said, wait a minute, because, you know, I'm going to tell y'all something. When I looked up from that board and saw them white folks over there, I thought to myself, I thought this was the NAACP. But I forgot it was a Jewish-run organization. And a lot of white folks sit there and say, well, don't worry. We got plenty of money. You know my Jewish friends got plenty of money. You work for them. We got plenty of money. But we need for you to do something for us. So we're tired of sending our babies down to places like Ole Miss listening to that band playing Dixie. I love Dixie. I love making my stand in Dixieland. So we're tired of sending our corporate workers down south looking at that rebel flag. Now we as intelligent Yankee white folk men, we know we can't go down there and attack that flag. But all you got to do is go down there and tell the black folks, because they don't know anything about their history. They don't know anything about that war. All you got to do is just say slavery, and they'll get right in line. Now, to his credit, Christ Mpume, who was the paid national president, said, hey, look, boys, you need to leave that flag alone. He said, that's like Reconstruction all over again. We can't do that. Martin Luther King wouldn't even do that. Just in Jackson, Andrew Young told me at the 100-year anniversary at Ashland School, very prestigious school. It used to be Ashland School for boys, but then they got some sense ladies, so now it's Ashland School. Sitting right there in the auditorium, I was. They made me sit by myself, because I whipped everybody when I was NAACP president. I was equal opportunity whipping. So all my black folk friends over there, everything they pump-funnery, didn't want to sit next to me. So Andrew Young came down the aisle and I said, hey, Mr. Young, I got a question to ask you. What would Martin Luther King have done or said about the attack on our flag? What flag are you talking about, boy? I'm talking about the Southern Cross, the Confederate battle flag. So when you ask me that question when we get through, saying, by the way, you've been around here flirting with my wife. Well, I didn't flirt with the girl. I hugged her 3 or 4 times. She was looking good, too. So you ask me that question when I get through speaking, and I'll answer it. And I did. What did King say about the flag? He said, well, several of his loyal lieutenants, like Jesse Jackson and even Abernathy, asked him to attack this flag. And King said to them, leave it alone. Let's do something about the things that we can do something about. The boy down there with the pants hanging down, dealing drugs, cake boat, no hope. Social vertical mobility for women in the marketplace and housing for folks around here. Leave that flag alone. If you attack this flag. That dream that I had that one day that the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners sitting down at the table of brotherhood, you can watch that out and just move your chair right on front of the table. Because far too many folks, red, yellow, black, and white, and even throwing the Yang brothers, yellow and brown, for that flag. Leave it alone. It's an amazing thing, after King died, all them boys running around there was already talking about being the weak-kneed and was out of touch with everything. Now they made a martyr out of it. Talk about the real truth. There I was about 3 weeks ago now. they invited me up, I know the son's a Confederate veteran meeting, baby. When they give me the microphone, I just get like that rapping school talking. Now, they invited me up to Lowlands, West Virginia to a reenactment called Rebellion in the Hills. See, let me tell you something. My daddy used to always tell me, he said, boy, you don't need a contract with Southern white folk. If they give you the words they bond. See? If they tell you, say, nigga, we're going to kill you at 12 o'clock. Be gone at 10. Don't stand around waiting for 12 to come. Take the boy at his word. Get out of town. Right? So when the woman told me, she called me up crying. So, oh, Lord, Miss Dexter, we don't have much money. But, boy, we got a great program up here. You can come up here and you can just talk to all the babies and everybody. But give us a break. So we went over there at your website and said it costs $20,000 a speech. My Lord, we can't afford you. You must be one of them house niggas. Well, I had to do that because, the Yankees kept talking about how Jesse Jackson made $15,000 a 5-minute speech and you only getting $100 and past the half. So I had to write that on my website. I'm a $20,000 Negro. And a card carrying member of the order of white trash, something like that. So anyway, Commander, so I tell the woman, I say, well, look, I tell you what. That's when you start talking about my babies. I know my babies need to know some truth. They don't teach it in the public school system. They established around here in 1865. I want you to know I'm a smart one, too. Took the Yankee school teacher down here, taught my babies all kind of crazy stuff. Said that the Christian white folk were nothing but rebels and traitors. And said that the black folks, y'all should have been done, got out of here. Where we going if you're free? I said, we going north. Talking about he hung high. You know what amazed me? There I was one night, the media is very biased in Hollywood. I'm talking about y'all. Had this program on, had these two black women headed into New York City the day they was fighting up at Gettysburg. So Lord, we free at last, free at last. They didn't know what was going on over there at the colored school where they done throw the boy out the window. Say, all them black folks were getting whipped and hung. And they around there got all this, oh, we going to freedom. But anyway, let me go back to Logan, West Virginia. Okay, so I tell the folks, I say, all right, I'll come on up to Logan to y'all's reenactment. But you got to know what you get when you invite H.K. Edgerton. Don't come thinking that I'm just because I'm close to Yankee land and I'm going to be around there talking good for Yankees. I ain't going to do that. If any of y'all present, hold your shoes, they will get tight tonight. See, so here I am. They done mistreated me the whole time. I'm going to tell you that first of all. I don't want to go through all the details of the mistreatment that I took. I've never been mistreated so bad in my entire life. But they did me. I tell the woman, I say, well, just give me 22 cents a mile times 2 and $100 for out-of-pocket expenses. If you want to give me an honorarium, just give me whatever you on your mind and give me one honorarium, lady. Okay? That night I can't find my way there. I finally get there. I've been on the road since 6 o'clock that morning. Went to the hotel. Said, well, you have a hotel room for me. The lady promised me a hotel room. Said, now unless your name is Abraham Lincoln or Harry Tubman, but that ain't my name in the hair. I don't have much hair, but already on top of my head now. The reenactors tell me I finally find some reaction. Tell me, say, HK, we so glad that you're here now. So that boy Abraham Lincoln been running around here telling our babies how he freed saved the nation, and how he freed the slave with the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment. I'm not here. Tell them I'm not here. You got to do something about that, HK. They done made a mistake. They done kept me from my babies, but they have me speaking the next day. Here I am out in the field with all these folks around there, and that boy walking around with his top hat skinning and grinning. I built me a trash can with all his stuff in it. And I told them babies around there, yeah, he did champion the 13th Amendment, the original 13th Amendment, which was by the very newspaper man, the Confederate Amendment, which basically said that if the Christian white folk men that had left Congress would come back and ratify this Confederate Amendment, that Congress would never have the ability to end the economic institution of slavery. No amendment could come across their desk that would do so. Now this is the boy that emancipated me and saved me. And I don't even have to talk about the Emancipation Proclamation because these Christian white folk gathered here tonight don't want to hear about that because they know all about it. It was a bogus piece of crap. Run around here telling my baby, got schools right now. Got Lincoln, on the trail to all the college universities, 150-year anniversary. Where's some of that money for President Davis? And we don't have a tour exhibit of one of the greatest men that ever sat in the United States Congress, President Davis. Now, and I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Had President Davis had the South won, we'd really had us a real African-American, I don't like that term, African-American president. Because that little black boy, Jim Limber, that President Davis and his wife took up off the street, was getting beat, and took that little baby boy into his house and made him his son. It wouldn't have been Barack Obama in the White House, it'd been Jim Limber. But nobody don't want to talk about that. Sons of Confederate veterans commissioned a monument of President Davis and Jim Limber after they put that Yankee Lincoln and Todd over there at the Tredegar Iron Works, where the cannon was made that fired on Fort Sumter. How you gonna put Lincoln and Todd sitting over there? I much rather look at Lincoln's wife when she was a bad-looking woman. I don't talk about women, but that was a bad-looking woman. I didn't know she was a woman at first for a long time. I thought she was his cousin, or boy, one of the boy's cousins. I'm serious, y'all. I'm only being truthful. My mama don't like that kind of talk either. Just last week, or a couple of weeks ago now, here is Barack Obama with a piece of paper in his hand, call it the Congressional Medal of Honor, getting ready to give it to a little Yankee boy 150 years after the fact. I know why you give it to him, because his grandfather, that named Cushing's, or his uncle, whatever he is to him. And so you taint, because it was Lincoln's medal in the first place. Let's don't forget that. The Congressional Medal of Honor was originally given to Lincoln's Yankee soldiers. And here's the amazing thing about that. The boy had 2,000 medals in his pocket, and Lincoln was over there at Gettysburg lying in. And I know y'all hate me to say that boy was a liar, but 7 years ago, there was no new nation when Lincoln was talking about it. There was only 13 original colonies. The whole thing is rigged with lies. But it feels good to hear. So we just, oh, Mr. Lincoln, that's my Yankee boy. Oh, Mr. Lincoln. The boy was a crook. He was a slick, willing lawyer, make Bill Clinton look like a picnic with the Pope. I want to tell the truth. Y'all hold it against me. And make sure that the newspaper, y'all let me know what the newspaper man write when I get back home. Buddy, see, I want some truth to. I'm standing over there on the battlefield at Logan, West Virginia, getting ready to go. And I got on my, I have on that day, I have on my artillery uniform. And you know my Christian white folk friends go, let me pull that cannon on some Yankees. It's can you get to shoot the first shot. Standing next to me, a little black boy, by the name of Trey. Trey had these cards that give to him over there with supposedly famous people on them. And I'm standing there with all these people around, they're taking pictures. You know, y'all know I'm handsome, nothing to tell them ladies. They can't help me. So I'm standing there, all these cameras going off and stuff, and we talking and everybody listening before the battle started. And he pulled out Lincoln. I said, oh, son, Lord have mercy, throw that in the trash, quick. So what you talking about, Mr. Edgerton? That's Abraham Lincoln. He saved us. So, baby boy, saved us from what? All those Africans he sent over there to that island and left them to die and starve. Told Douglas when he came into his office, said, perhaps you always have been equal, but as long as you around here with the color of that skin the way it is, and you in this country, you'll never be equal to the white man. And what you need to do is get out. The best thing for y'all is certainly is to get out the country. We'll give you a library, fix you up over there. But you need to leave here. Abraham Lincoln was great emancipator. I told that baby boy, look at that horse going down. Now watch what he dropped on the ground. That's what this is, son. I thought his mama was going to jump me, but she was standing there. She told the rest of the boys over there, the cousins, get on over here and listen to Mr. Edgerton. The baby boy told me, he said, after I got through with him, he said, let me tear this up and take it down to the creek and throw it in the water. I said, no, baby boy, stop at the trash can. Don't throw it in the water. When it came time to give me my expense check, I'm traveling 444 miles there and 44 miles back. The woman looked at me and she said, I can't give you that. The only thing I can give you is $200. When I looked so shocked, I'll throw in another 100. I said, ma'am, wait a minute. You can't do that to me. I could see it in her eyes. So Abraham Lincoln down here speaking in a tent, there's 3 people, and you got 1,000 up that way you speaking. You done talk so bad about him. Matter of fact, I only got $100. Take the $100 and get it. Now I'm 444 miles away. If it don't be for Dixie Outfitters and these mighty fine t-shirts I sold to the reenactors, I'd still be in Logan, West Virginia. I'm serious. And I wasn't so easy on Mr. Tubman either. That straightened out some of them lines. So Harry, you around here talking about the Underground Railroad, why don't you tell these babies about all those Africans who were on that Underground Railroad headed back south? All those Africans who said, boy, it's better to be a slave in the South than this so-called freedom they got going on around here in the North, unless you make it to Canada. Every opportunity these folks, I know, Commander, I'm supposed to be talking about the Confederate soldier, we're supposed to be emulating his virtues. That means you got to try hard to be like he was. Commander, I'm not going to tell these babies that come in here to try to be hard like a person if he like what these folks say he is. Come out of the NAACP, to come out to, went into a room, came out with this resolution that said that the Christian cross of St. Anne, they didn't call it the Christian cross of St. Anne, said the Confederate battle flag was an evil, odious, blight on the universe. How in the world, newspaper man, can you say something like that about a Christian symbol? Huh? That was 69 AD, newspaper man, because people already know about that. There he was, the first apostle. The Catholics made me say apostle. They won't let me say disciple anymore. The first apostle of Jesus Christ. There he was, preaching. Our Father who art in heaven, he said, newspaper man, hallowed be thy name. That boy walked up on him and said, hey, we ain't going to have that round here in Peoria, Greece, all that, our Father who art in heaven. You keep that up, we're going to nail you to the cross just like we nailed Jesus. And Andrew, newspaper man, said, I'm not ready to be nailed like that. You're going to put me up there, just tie me up there in the form of an X, here it is, newspaper man. Constantine found his bones many years later, dug him up and sent him back to Scotland. This became his flag. The whole world knows that this flag has been fighting tyranny. There was the NAACP calling it an evil, demonic symbol, talking about the Christian cross of St. Andrew. And then folks over there said, let that old man down. On and on he went down. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Here he is. Here he is. The Christian cross of St. Andrew. Y'all, thank you, baby. You know I'm getting ready up in here. What time? How much more time I got left? Let me know you're going to get to the clock, because I have decided to put some super glue on the door. Let me know, because I'm just getting right now, Commander. See, all y'all got black friends. Every one of you do. But see, when you don't, you have folks running around talking outside their neck. You got to pull them to the side and talk to them. Here a lot of Christian white folks say, we can't talk to black folks anymore. Since when are black folks and white folks not talking? This is not, this might be Unionist territory, but this is not New York City. You don't let a man walk around with a booger hanging on his nose if you Southern. You get a boy something, tell him to clean it up. He ain't gonna let you walk around all day like that, just point at you like that. Won't even tell you got a booger on your nose. I'm telling the truth, Commander. I was so hurt. Well, let me tell you this first. After I got through over the rich the other night, after that black man, I don't know where he got that liquor he was drinking. I was, he got up in my face and I was high as a kite when he got out. I was like, boy, I gotta go give him a speech. What is that boy drinking? But I felt so bad about it. one of the men handed the temperament. How you gonna tell an idiot about temperament? My mama don't like that talk. She don't like me name calling people. I don't want to name call him. But I couldn't talk to him about Patty Stevens. I couldn't talk to him about the 10th Amendment. All he knows is one thing. Whoever told him to go out there and holler treason, when the sons of Confederate, that's an old slave thing too. Whichever two slaves get in an argument, the one that can holler the loudest and cuts the most, at the end he wins the argument. But this is 21st century. You come gathering yourself up in my face with all that madness, but you better be ready to talk. But here's a man standing before me. He wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So I had to get ugly. Well, I taught me to get ugly. I mean, you know, my mannerism had to get ugly. Because this boy don't know. Son, you doing something that even unionist folks around here wouldn't dare do. You can't call the Christian white folks in the South treasonous and then look at me and call me treasonous too. Hey, we be looking for the treason trial. Bring them on. Just like they did General Nathan Bradford-Col, they got word that he was the one in charge of the Klan. And certainly didn't like what took place over there at Fort Pillow, wanted to hang a lie on him over there, but he told them boys over there, lay down your weapons, put them down. And what did they do? Let me tell you something. If the police come right outside over there right now, and I'm standing over here like John Wayne with two pistols on my side, and I walk out there, they empty, and they tell me, say, boy, put those pistols down, and I reach for them and I aim it, I'm goodbye. I don't care what you're thinking around here. You can take me around to Ferguson and Luton and rob and steal all you want to, but when the man tell you to put that down, you better put it down. Red, yellow, black, white, pink, purple, I don't care what you got going around here, put it down. That's what John Parr said. Surrender! You are surrounded, gentlemen! And you aim the gun at General Nathan Bradford-Col. Yeah, that Chinese name is again. He hung high. But they sent for him. Sent that far-right William Thomas Sherman to get him. Had him over there at the Klan trials, slobbing at the mouth, ready to go hang John Parr. Scared of those treason trials that boy talking about with President Davis that done shackled him to a bed over there at Fort Monroe, trying to shame him, but we got General Sherman. Well, let me tell you something. When they found out they got General Parr over there testifying, and the boys looked at each other and said, we better shut up with this. Let him get on out of here before we get implicated in some bad things. Had to exonerate him from Fort Pillow. Had to exonerate him about the Klan because he had that Union League around here. Oh, Lord have mercy. Didn't put X's on black folks' doors. Beating black folks, making them vote in that so-called radical Republican Party. That Stevens took the vote away from the Christian white man that fought. Everybody fought. The little baby boy. Oh, Lord, let me tell you about this one. Newspaper man. Oxford, Mississippi. Commander. Down there where those little baby boys were sitting over there in the college, just like they were at the Citadel. And now all of a sudden they're mad because General Parr is up in Memphis. Cut it out! So they sent the boys down to Oxford to burn down the whole town. And here those baby boys were sitting over there at Ole Miss trying to study, trying to make something out themselves. And every one of them got up and said, we're going to join the Confederate Army. Every one of them lost their lives in Gettysburg. Came back with bodies. Christian white folk ladies built a monument to them at the front gate at Ole Miss. All those Confederate soldiers buried down behind the Coliseum. So-called chancellor come in and he decide we're going to build a monument to what's that boy's name? James Murder. James Murder didn't even want to go to Ole Miss. He didn't. And didn't even stay in class most of the time he was there. Told them folks, I don't really deserve a monument. Oh no, we got to put that monument up to black folks. Everything you can do to use black folks against the Christian white folks in the Southland of America to break his spirit, we're going to do that. Put the monument up. Then he said, we're going to hire us a cultural diversity vice president. Wait a minute. Black folks in the South don't need a cultural diversity, right? You must need it for them new Yankees you got around here. But in the Southland of America, we walk like white folks, we dress like white folks, we carry their name. We pray like white folks. What we need a cultural diversity, but you need one for them Yankees. And then we're going to change the names of all those Confederate streets, going to paint over them. Sons of Confederate veterans had an injunction put on, but like they always do, the law won't make any difference. The president said that, well, go on out there with a bucket of paint, they ain't going to bother us. Just like what happened when William Test Sherman went into the office to the White House with Lincoln. Went right over there in the White House and came back and told his men, Mr. Newspaper Man, said, gentlemen, I've got a message from the Commander-in-Chief. We're going to take the theater of war to the civilian population in the South because we're getting tired of getting whipped. 12 one we got them. And we still got a whipping coming. Take the theater of war, total warfare, what it's called. Innocent, defenseless men, women, and children. My Yankee army went down there raping and robbing and stealing and killing. That's what they did in the Southland of America. Southern white woman fought a war all by herself. She had her own special war. You're going to give me this man and tell me he's my savior. My mama told me about what happened in Anderson, South Carolina. When old lady Williams was standing out there, the Yankees had come, had them all standing out there in the field. All the slaves was around her, calling out her name because they all so scared. And the Yankee looked over there at her 3 daughters, and then they looked over there at the baby boy and the grandmama, her mama, and told the young boy, take the old lady back there and get some fun and learn something. Told all the other boys, get them 3 girls are going. And I know the boy, I saw you over there looking at that boy, take him and go have your way with him too. General Nathan Bedford Forrest, total warfare in the Southland of America. In case y'all forget too much, too quick. I know now. My daddy, Baptist minister, used to always say, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. That's what the Southern Christian white folks are guilty of. Forgiving the trespasses. And now your babies can't even go into the schoolhouse doors with the Christian cross and St. Andrew on their person. Take it off, turn it inside out. Why? Because it's an evil demonic symbol. Because it defended slavery. The whole world was complicit in the economic institution of slavery. Christian white folks around here didn't have the boats that drove up into West Africa and brought all those slaves. Time I got enough, Commander, I'm getting ready to go. I don't want to hold y'all here all night. Y'all buy one of my t-shirts, please, if you can. Leave a donation, I don't care if it's 2 pennies. I have to do that, newspaper man. Write that down too. Make somebody see that. I mean, you're writing everything. Write that too. Say, you want my address, 71 Buffalo Street, Asheville, North Carolina, 28806. If they got a good donation, tell them to send it there. I'll be Yankee fighting in the morning. My past county commissioner chairman saw me yesterday, the day before too. He said, hey, what you doing out here so cold? I said, boy, don't let the sun come out because my stock is up high now. See, all them folks, I'm uplifting the spirits of my Southern family. Every time they see the flag, their spirits is up. Getting back to that boy, Tibbins. Said he guaranteed there are no Confederate soldiers in the Veterans Day parade. He's right about that. But what he meant to say was no sons of Confederate veterans in that parade. But you know, I'll leave ignorance alone. It's just like it was over there in Memphis when this little Indian talking about, I am an expert on the war, on the Civil War. I said, boy, you can't even speak English good. Shut up. We don't want to hear from you today with your degree. Take that Yankee degree and say nothing. But anyway, so tired of my babies taking this with me. At some point in time, you can print this newspaper, man. Please print this to all my Yankee friends around here. We see how they're cutting up. They come in our homeland, they're building all their houses straight up, building everything around here. You know, Southern folk, this Christian white folk in the South has always been, well, just leave them alone, honey. You can't leave them alone! You can't do it! And there come a time, newspaper man, when the Christian white folks in the Southland of America, they will find out what the Mason-Dixon line is. But let me tell you this here, and then I'm going to do our make flag, quit running my mouth. When I'm coming off the stage at the Ritz in Clinton the other night, and I love Lynn Fox, the head of the Historical Society over there, told us, said, well, HK, you want to come and ride on the parade with us? She said, well, wait a minute, hold it, Lynn. They ban the colors over there? She said, well, we doing a timeline, and you bring your colors, but I don't ride, y'all. I ain't riding until I can't, I have to ride. So that boy must stop riding on that thing. I got to walk with my flag. They done said we don't want no flag walking in the parade. I'm strutting like a peacock, me and General Lee. Sheriff went out there and said, oh, get out of my parade! And Lynn Fox said, HK, what you doing? Keep marching. Boy, I think I'm still over there on Clinton Street marching. I do. I march so hard. You know, when you're out on the road, just marching around with your flag, you kind of like nobody see you. But when you're in the Veterans Day parade with the flag that's been banned in Clinton, oh Lord! Oh. I strut so hard, Commander, I almost broke my spine. But anyway, as I'm coming off the stage, I didn't talk real bad about the American Legion Post No. 2 and what they did. The guy come up to me, his name was Billy, he had a nameplate on him. He said, HK, I sit on the board of directors of American Legion Post No. 2. The day of the Veterans Day parade, when our car passed by you, I was sitting in that car when you turned your back on us. I don't want to look at you. Yes, I did turn my back on you filthy selves. Every one of you. Since you got it wrong, HK, we don't mean, American Legion Post No. 2 don't mean the Sons of Confederate Veterans or the people of the South any harm. But when we saw the Sons of Confederate Veterans' name appear on the Southern Poverty Law list, hate group list, we had no other choice but to ban the colors. And let me tell you something, newspaper man, when you take away a man's colors, an army man's colors, you stripped him of all his pride, his spirit. Little baby boys, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, went off the wall and were color bearers and carried the Christian cross of St. Andrew and lifted the spirits of the Southern Army. You can't take away the colors of a man and tell him to march. You've taken away the man himself. So I'm coming off the stage, I done whipped him as good as I could whip him. And he says to me, I'm on the board of directors. If you and Scott Hall will sit down, I'm going to take this back to my board. And if you'll sit down with our board, I've got serious reservations about what we did. He ought to have commanders. Yeah, commanders. And I'm hoping that the scalawags have enough courage to hold that board meeting. And I believe in my heart, Commander, I know in my heart they have a board meeting, the colors of the Southern soldier will be marching in the Veterans Day parade in Knoxville. And I hope they line the streets up for 10 miles. Anyway, let me do this so y'all can go home. Don't go home unless you come past my bucket over here. Sergeant, I'll put some super glue on the door. Don't allow nobody out here